Hello friends, today we're going to do a little project from my idea book I had in there. I don't know who I got it from, but I did make one and have it in my idea book. So basically it's a little corner tuck spot that is also a flip out for some journaling. So you could glue it down like totally on the page at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, whatever you like. I personally would probably go down here. I like it that I did with the tab hanging down, and I would only glue it on two sides and use it then as a tuck spot for a tag or a journal card. So what I like about this, it's using 6x6 paper. Mind you, you could use any size paper as long as it's a perfect square. So 6x6, 5x5, 8x8, 7x7, it doesn't matter. And then it flips open like this. So it's basically just about how you score it and how you fold it. And you could then have all this journaling space that folds in on itself like this and is hidden from view. And then I personally would use a little paper clip. I pulled out my Velcro dots, mini Velcro, but I don't think they would work because you'd need a couple of them. So I do think just using just a little mini paper clip or any kind of paper clip that you have to clip it closed would work the best. I'm just going to use a regular one here, and you could just tuck it like this even, or on the side or on the bottom, and just kind of paper clip it closed like that. Now also when it's in a journal, the weight of the journal on it will probably eventually just keep it closed until you go to open it like that. So I just thought we would make a couple. I just wanted to give it a try. This one was in my idea book, like I said, so you could decorate it up however you like. You could use double-sided, 6x6 like I show in my sample, or you could use single-sided, which is what we're going to do today, just so you have a more clear journaling spot on the back. And I would stencil over that, or coffee diet, or even just use your oxide ink to kind of make it a little more vintage looking. So we're going to start with this one. Now, if you have directional paper, you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. But this is 6x6. So basically we're going to score it at 3, and then we are going to score it, turn it a turn and score it at 3 again. And so we would fold it as so. And then we're going to score it on the diagonal here and the diagonal here. So you have to see which way you want it. So this corner to me would go in, and this would be my top. So when I will be bringing it in like this. So I have to look at the way the pattern is. For this one in particular, I'm not too terribly concerned. I don't mind if it goes sideways. So then I'm just going to, let me look at my sample. I'm gonna, so this is the writing side. So I'm gonna score it this way. So I'm just gonna place this on my 3-inch here. And hopefully I have it point to point. My little scoreboard's not gonna be big enough. So I'm gonna pull out my big scoreboard. Get out the big guns here. And I'm going to score it with this one so I can just see that it is on the correct line. And I'm going to just use this line here. It doesn't matter which one you use. And make sure it lines up. And I'm going to come down a little bit. And I'm going to score. So you sorry. How's that for English? You sort of have to train the paper. So I'm going to fold it. Let me see. Yeah, so it's going to fold in this way. So if you fold it, that's another way you could just do it, is just fold it into a perfect matched triangle and then score it. You don't even have to use a scoreboard. That's how I did it, now that I think about it. And I want these to fold in. So I just fold them both ways. I really work the score. And see how this wants to come up now? See? And then it folds down together into the corner. I hope you can see that. So it folds, it'll fold in on itself there, see? And the two corners will meet. And then this one will fold down. And then you just really have to score. This is where your bone folder really will come in, or a ruler. And when you train the paper and train the creases to fold that way, then it will just continue to do so. So simple, eh? And then you open it up and then look at all your journaling space. You have some creative journaling space here. You could write on the diagonal. So there we go. So now that I know I don't need my big scoreboard, I'm going to put it away. I probably should just leave it on my desk because it has that mat on it. But anyway, no worries. So now we're going to just take this and score it at 3 inches both ways and then fold it in a triangle. So easy peasy. Turn it this way. Then fold our paper over. The scores just make it a little easier to fold. But I mean, if you have a bone folder, there's really no reason why you can't just line it up. Or maybe I do need the scoreboard. I'm not the best folder in the world. If you meet this corner and slowly work into the middle and slowly pinch out, it should, there we go, see? Just a little tip there. It should meet the corner, and then you can just score it. And then train your fold to go the opposite way. I have to admit, I like using the scoreboard better. I think it gives you a nice, it gives you that score line, which makes it a little easier to fold. See, and we want this to fold in on itself. So I'll have to fold this, this. And there you go. You can already see it wants to do that. See, it wants to fold in on itself and close. And then I would use a paper clip to hold it closed wherever you decide. You could even leave it floating and put it into a pocket and then just have it as an interactive piece that opens up. I really like this. I thought it was such a cool idea. So that's 2 that we have done. And if you've done them, you can put them under like a heavy book even. I'm going to stick them under my mat here to kind of keep them folded. And we're just going to fold a few more. And you know what? I am going to get out my big scoreboard. See the mistakes I make? Now you don't have to make them. Just get out your big scoreboard if you have it. If not, you can just do the fold like I just did. I personally like when you fold it, it has the score line to fold on. So let's pull out another one. I hope I'm in camera. There we go. So we're going to score it at 3 and 3. I don't even think this one's scored. And then you're going to put it on the diagonal. I go here because there's not as many lines and I can make sure I'm on the right line. There you go. Fold it in half. Fold it the other way because that is the way. And you can always fix it up a little bit here if it's not perfect. And there you go. This one doesn't want to go. There you go. And then really score it down. So when you use a 6x6 piece of paper, in the end, your little journal square will be basically, should be 3x3. So just remember that if you use a 12x12, let's say, piece of paper, it would be 6x6, which would be bigger than I would need for most journals. So if you went 10x10, your little corner here would be 5x5. So you could even just do, I think an 8x8 would be really nice to do. So why don't we do an 8x8 as well? I'll put this under my mat to kind of flatten. I don't know if I have any 8x8. And a little heavier scrapbook paper is the better. This one might be too thin. Here we go. So you can take a 12 by 12. Let's find one that I thought I might use. These are kind of bright colors, but well, that's not the same paper. So let's use this one. I really want to see what an 8 by 8 will look like. So I'm just going to move this, and I'll move my little pens back. There's my scoreboard. I'm going to get out my cutter. Sorry for the noise. And I know I'll be slightly off camera here, but this is the edge I tore. So I might be a little bit close because I had it set up for the 6 by 6, but let's just try this. So that's 8 by 8. And then you have pieces left if you use a 12 by 12, and you can make a large tag even to stick in the tuck spot in the corner, which would be a cool idea. So there's an 8 by 8 piece of paper. So we'll get our scoreboard again. So obviously everything is divided in half. So this one we would do 4 by 4, correct? So is that 4 or is that 4 1/4? This is 4. My scoreboard is really old. Oh, I think I scored it in the wrong spot. Yep. That's 4 1/4. This is 4. Sorry. We'll ignore that. This will be my large sample for the sample book. Okay, so I'm going 4, which is in half. I'm just going to go here so I can see that I'm lined up top to bottom. And I'm going to score this line here. There we go. So I'm going to fold my sideways first to make my triangle. I'm going to fold it back the other way. I just find that when you do that, it does manipulate the paper a little bit, so it's easier. So I just got to make sure I get the right fold here so it's half, because I did have 2 score lines. And then this one. And then we'll see, even that will fold very nicely. So if we get our page out again for our book, our journal, this would flip out like so. So you would have a huge writing space. And now I think personally, I would do it on the like on an inside like this, and I'd put it in a corner like this. So this is a tuck spot, and then I have lots of room for this to open up and for me to write. I really like that. I think that's cool. I like this size too. I haven't done one like that. So there you go. Any size paper, depending on the size of your journal, as long as you can divide it by 2 evenly, you can create these little flip out corners using double-sided paper. Let's say I wanted that on the inside. I was like, ugh, I don't like how that went. I should have went it this way. You just have to retrain the paper to fold in. Yeah, so I want this on the inside now. So I got to train this paper now to fold this way. So it'll want to come in here. So I'll have to rescore it because it doesn't want to obey me. And there you go. There's my large bone folder. Just a cute idea that I thought was a little different. It's nothing new. It's out there on the YouTube. So I just love how that is like a little hidden journaling spot that's a tiny bit different and has a little bit of creative writing that you could write something here, and the line kind of, you could even, like when you put it in, if you are an inker, you could ink your score lines, and that kind of gives you divisions for even writing space, which I think is really cool. I just love how this looks. So there you go. So when you open this up, so I got to retrain this, remember, because I had it going the other way. So I need to retrain this fold to go this way. So I'm just going to score it one more time, or bone fold it one more time. So when I go to close, oh, I think I'm doing it the wrong way. Let me see. I want this to go in. Why is it not listening? There we go. There we go. You just gotta kind of teach it. I think it's probably more to do with the outside than the inside. So now when you have it on your page, you could have, like I said, a tag stuck in here that coordinates with whatever journal you're using or making. And then you have this to flip open to write. I like it because you could like write in here and then write something different in here. And you could write in different ways. I just think it's cool that you have a kind of more creative writing space. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I will try to decorate some of them and I'll have pictures at the end. Again, here's my sample using 6x6 piece of paper. I added some lace and I added a little tab that for me will hang out the bottom, which I like that kind of thing in a journal. So if you don't like that, you don't have to do that. And then you know that this pops open and I would just hold it closed with a little paper clip. Thanks for watching today and I will have some pictures at the end. Bye now.